topic. General elections. Guys, the general elections have been. Now, what are our thoughts right about all of this? Now, I want to say that, look, there's certain things, there's a lot of media there's actually, a lot of social media posts being made about the results. There's a lot of fear-mongering going on. A lot of people are kind of like trying to, I don't know whether, maybe they are scared and they're trying to, I don't know, resonate that fear out there. They're trying to, I don't know what they're trying to do. Maybe they're not thinking this through. But there's a lot of this, oh my God, what's going to happen? The Tories have won, and, you know. So I want to say, first of all, look, people, I myself am full supporter of Corbyn. However, the fact that he's lost, and I want to mention a few things about that as well, but the fact that he has lost, this is not the end of the world. Okay, this is not an apocalyptic moment. Okay, we need to stop being a part of these fear-mongering kind of campaigns. The world is not going to end. There's not going to be this kind of all of a sudden, it's not going to become Nazi camps. We need to just relax. Relájate, tranquilo, people. It isn't gonna, it's not going to become like that. So stop spreading this kind of fear, because you're just frightening other people. I saw an article by, I think it was the Metro, stating that, look, post-election results or post-Tory win, Muslims have begun discussing, or Muslims are planning on leaving the UK, and I thought, what nonsense is that? Well, that is utterly unacceptable. These media outlets peddling this racial tension by trying to suggest that Muslims are now about to leave the country. First of all, Muslims are not leaving the country, okay? You need to calm down. Nothing is actually happening. Life is exactly as it was. The Tories, for those of you who haven't noticed, have actually been in power for almost 2 decades now. I'm sorry, for almost a decade now. So we need to kind of just relax and, if possible, look at the plus side, look at the positives. The pound has already, it's began to soar in power, in stability. It's risen against the dollar, against the euro. That means those of you, going on holidays or that have links abroad, it means more money for you already immediately. I'm just saying, in addition to other things, I wanted to also say that, look, one of the parties had to lose. There could have been a hung, which is, I suppose, in some way still a loss. But if there had to be a loss from an evaluative perspective, in many ways, it's better. In many ways, it's unfortunate because I would, affiliate with the left, not the far left, but with the left, with more liberal values, less authoritarian, more about social welfare, things like this. I do associate with that, affiliate with that, and but all things said and considered, if one of the two had to lose, which they did, in some ways it's better that the left lost. You know why? I'm thinking about now that it's happened. Because can you imagine, you see, if the right had lost, the right also was kind of peddled by a lot of the far right claims and cries about Brexit and things like this. The reaction from them would be much more stark and harsh than the reaction from the left when they lose. You see, you would have had an extremist reaction that would have led to peddling a lot more hatred in the country. that would have led to maybe, much, actual, like many dangerous scenarios and things like this. I'm just saying, this is, my thoughts on it. I'm not saying Yeah, I mean, somebody said, don't you think British politics is a lot more to the left? It is absolutely, I agree, it is to the left. So, right, but that said, we're trying to assess reactions, we're trying to assess, when one side loses compared to the other, what are the losses, what is the damage? And sometimes when people ask for something so much and you give it to them, like people are saying, oh, we want the Tories in, we want this, we want that, and you give it to them, and they've got it now. They've got a clear mandate. And sometimes it makes people realize, once they stop fighting, oh, okay. It's like, and I'm not really a fan at all of Boris, but I think in some ways he would have to kind of up his game. Because he knows that, there's huge expectations, and now there isn't even an opposition to blame. If you don't deliver on things, it's your own doing. This kind of brings us to the Corbyn thing. I was thinking about this, and I have to say, I genuinely feel very sorry for Jeremy Corbyn. Because it's not just the fact that he lost. There's that. But he suffered a huge humiliation with this defeat. And it's not even that. Now you check this out. Here is a man who's been campaigning for decades. Decades he's been campaigning. Against things like oppression, against racism. I mean, he's been campaigning since, he was an activist, you get those old photos from the 70s, early 80s, before the Race Equality Act was even introduced, before it was even law to be discriminating racially and things like that. You've got a person like Jeremy Corbyn, who from that time was campaigning, and an activist. He was, going up against the police and protesting and doing all of these things. Now he reaches the peaks of his career, where he potentially could become the Prime Minister of the country. Now it reaches, that may be a position that he had never envisaged in the past, that he would actually attain something like that. I mean, he may have thought, maybe he'd never considered that I'd become so successful. And he reaches such a maqam, such a position, and then not only suffers such a humiliating defeat, but then is kind of cornered into, forced, one could say, socially coerced, into resigning with the label of racist. That is so. I mean, the very thing he fought for decades. They are closing his entire chapter, sealing it with the term racist. How cruel is this world? The jo be-maut maar hi dale, ye dunya wo hai. That which kills you without death 1,000 times over. Such is this dunya. Hum jo zinda hain to jeene ka hunar rakhte hain. If we are alive, it's because we have the ability to survive. It's a shame, honestly. It's an absolute, it's so tragic. It's movie-like. How they, the fact that they took him to this breaking point and then sealed his chapter with the term racist, the very thing he spent decades fighting. And yet, people, for example, Boris could say clearly almost racist remarks. Nobody bats. He'd just be, I didn't mean it like that. It was just humor. And people would be so forgiving. It's amazing, isn't it? This is, people, dunya. Welcome, ahlan wa sahlan bikum fi dunyana. This is our dunya that we have, people. So it is a fascinating thing. Upon my critique to what Corbyn's strategy and what really led to his loss, I believe, were two main things. I think the absolute main thing was his position on Brexit. Refusing to be resolute. And this goes to show that, look, people, even if they don't understand something, they want to see certainty in the leader. They need to see certainty. And I quoted on my Facebook thing as well, John Elias, you know, the legendary poet, who says, Shayad maine mohabbat kabhi ki hi nahi, that perhaps I've never truly loved anyone. लेकिन यकीन सबको दिलाता रहा हूं मैं. Allah, Allah. Yet I've made everybody feel certain that I have. So sometimes you need to, and even if what Jeremy Corbyn should have done is he should have just said his position. You know, he was a Leaver, he wasn't a Remainer. And he should have just said that when they asked him, like they asked him 5 times on that debate and he avoided the question every time. He just said, my party position is this, but they said, what is your position? He should have just said, look, I do want Brexit. He should have said that. I want Brexit. And I did vote for leaving Brexit. But he could have just added that I've got constituents on both sides of the argument. And I understand their side, and, you know, it makes sense to me, and I understand their side. It makes sense to me. So we are going to get Brexit, and then to make sure you're happy with what we've got will allow you to okay it and approve it. And that is the ratifying vote. There you go. Allah, Allah, Allah. People, maybe I should enter politics. You know, as a wise man once, as Amitabh Bachchan once said in a movie, he said, "Kisi ko marna hatya hai." Killing someone is simply murder. Magar kisi ko sahi waqt pe marna rajniti hai. He said, but to kill them at the precise time, now that's politics. So these were my thoughts. Look, it's a shame. He didn't win, but it is what it is, you know, and there must be khair in this as well. So, but the most important thing is stay wary of this doom and gloom kind of propaganda that is being peddled. Oh my God, we better migrate back. Where should we go? I saw these posts. I saw this one post saying, we as Muslims, what country, if you were to do hijrah, would you do hijrah to? You know, people, we are part and parcel of this society. We are, like this is in the UK, the British people. We have to stop this transitory mindset. You have to understand that we are here. We are, you know, we were born here. It's not, I mean, some people have come here, I get that, but the majority of the Muslims here are born here. So this is what it is. There's a you know, what is it? There's a poem that, in fact, I'll try and actually get it as a file as well later on about the Indian issue, because it's going on over there as well. Huge right-wing kind of propaganda that he says, "Isi gali ki khak se yahi khak apni milayenge." That इसी गली की खाक से यही खाक अपनी मिलाएंगे, ना आए आपके बुलाने से, that ना बुलाए आपके आए हैं, na nikale aap se jayenge. But it's along these lines. It's a very powerful, somebody had mentioned it in India, because right now in India you've also got the rise of fascism and the far right and things like this, and they've passed a bill, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. We'll come back to some of your questions first of all. So people, main thing is stay positive. That's what it is, stay positive. And that is really the true sign of a believer. You know, the Prophet said in a hadith that a believer is always positive. That he's always positive, you know. Amruhu, that the Prophet said that I'm amazed at the matter, the affair of a believer. Amruhu kulluhu khair. That everything is always good. It's always sunny side up. That's what it is. And that's the hadith that the Prophet is saying is amazing, you know. If something good, he's grateful, he praises God. If something difficult or challenging, he has patience, he understands that this is from God. So, cool people, let's move on to the next question.